Hey, come see us in Ashland, Virginia, Athens, Georgia, Rutherford, New Jersey at the Icarus Festival, and Minneapolis, Minnesota. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets. I don't know if people saw this, but ABC, was it ABC? They put out, no, it was the PBS put out a documentary about Frontline, about January 6th. And so this guy, Eric Abinate, he said, in a remarkable PBS documentary, the January 6th committee admits the entire thing was a publicity stunt, fabricated TV production meant to manipulate the audience. What? The trusted, completely military intelligence-funded network claims that January 6th was a staged event? That's unbelievable. Hey, if you enjoyed the hit miniseries Shogun, you're gonna like the new January 6th miniseries No Gun. The saga of a group of people who found out you can completely take over a high-security national institution without bringing firearms. Isn't that amazing? So here is some of it. I just want to play some of it for you. And I don't know if you saw this or not, but when I saw it, it pissed me off. I guess this aired a few months ago at least, right? So did you see it, Sam?
I haven't watched it, but I saw this clip, yeah.
Okay, watch this.
Thompson's committee had gathered a trove of information. The challenge, what to do with it.
The one thing that we knew was the information that we have is compelling.
Okay, what to do with it? Okay, guys, there's some compelling information here. So we got to suppress that. And then we got to need some really compelling bullshit. How about that? Okay, here we go. And how did they do it? They got the best in the business.
The thing we needed to do was tell that to the American people in a compelling way. So that's why we brought in a former president of ABC News.
Yeah, I got a call pretty much out.
Yeah, hey, you remember the Turtle Man character Dana Carvey did? Well, what has that guy been up to? Well, turns out he's literally been the president of ABC News for years. Perfect. Okay, here we go.
Of the blue from the January 6th committee. They wanted a storyteller. And while they were brilliant lawyers, storytelling for a mass audience is not what they do.
To bring in a guy like this who would think outside the box really did prove to be fruitful. And it was Goldston who really began to envision this as, in a way, a kind of mini-series, that there would be, sort of 9 episodes, and that these episodes would tackle particular themes.
Attack on the Capitol. The investigation.
The first hearing was primetime television.
As the nation is about to witness a defining moment. The first hearing before the country, the results of the January 6th investigation.
This is an extraordinary moment in American history.
When it came to that first hearing, we knew how high the stakes were.
Is about to hold its first primetime hearing.
We were either gonna, make people realize that this was important, or once you've lost them, you've lost them for good.
On the evening of June 9th, 8:01 p.m., the doors opened. My heart was beating pretty fast on June 9th, and it was a real question of, is this going to work or not?
All right, everybody, here we go. 5 on the line, please.
I'm in this tiny control room right up the stairs from Cannon Caucus. And we count down to the start of the hearing. And at that point, what can you do?
Here we go. In 3, 2, 1.
The Select Committee to investigate the January 6th attack on the United States Capitol will be in order. Without objection.
We wanted to make sure that this was a presentation that would grab the audience and hold on to them. Chairman Thompson loved to say, it's got to pop.
So,
if they wanted to make it pop, I think they should have had Ryan Gosling in it.
So it was a fucking movie they put together to manipulate people's emotions, just like an advertising commercial.
Why would you say that you're doing that?
That they just because
things that are really important, you don't have to make them pop.
That's right.
I'll never forget 9/11 that I saw. It really popped on its own. They didn't have to add any. I mean, they did add shit to it, but it really on its own. I actually gave a shit before I saw the pop that they came up with.
Yeah, you know that Kennedy assassination, we were like, oh, if we just had another camera angle. You know, maybe we could see Jackie's face as the brain blew up. Anyway, so here's something they didn't show you in that. This is all the insurrectionists taking selfies with the fucking cops. I guess that didn't make it in because that wouldn't fit their story. And here it is. So here, if you can all see. So there they are. They're all hanging out with the cops. Right? That has all the menace of a furry convention.
The furry convention is deadly. Don't play with that. You do not know what you're up against with a furry convention. It's not even close to that nightmare.
Hey, remember that time we stormed the Capitol and then we hung out?
Hey, wait, are you telling me the people who said Blue Lives Matter a lot were pretty cool with the cops?
There's people in the people's house. Oh my God. Don't they know that's just for lobbyists and cocksuckers to corporate America?
And also literal cocksucking at certain times?
But it's like, the FBI literally told you what was going on because they pulled the guy that was in charge of the governor of Michigan kidnapping case, pulled him out once that was done, pulled him over to January 6th and had him run that whole thing. So it's like, it's just, everything is a demoralization.
Don't spoil it, I haven't seen the second episode yet. I don't know what happened. I got a DVR.
I'm still watching the Nickelodeon molester thing. I'm getting to it.
The cops were wearing yellow, and those courageous men in yellow, appropriately enough. And I think they should immediately be transferred to Uvalde or something, all right? To show those cops how it's done, right? Right? You're watching, you fucking guys are amateurs. What you do is you don't confront the insurrectionists, right? What you do is you try to engage them. And by engage them, I mean literally get down on a knee and give them a diamond ring. It's 3 months of your, that's all. It's just 3 months' salary. And Jesus Christ. It's not an insurrection. We treat it more like an erection because it's not going to last forever, okay?
A lot of this was all about trying to, you know, what is everything about? What was the OKC bombing about? What was 9/11 about? And then what do you get into all this stuff about? And it really was trying to create this new Department of Homeland of domestic terrorism. And once they can establish that they have domestic terrorism, they can do what they did to these poor January 6th guys, and they can label you a terrorist, and you have zero rights, and you can't even talk to lawyers, and you basically lose all your.
How about the biggest thing? Because that shit's not going to stand up. But guess what? Now you can't own guns. So all the people that might have had some kind of gumption to go down there are banned from owning guns. It's a great roundup to put a felony on someone, and now they can't ever own a weapon again.
And so they're treating simple trespassing like it's a fucking felony, and they're putting people away for 5 and 10 years, and they're using bullshit laws that were written for Enron and corporate criminals, and they're using it against regular people who were ushered into the Capitol by the cop. Like one guy actually got off because the judge agreed with him because the cops didn't stop him. They were like, come on in, and you can't. So. This is exactly what's happening, Sam, is the FBI instigated it. Like I say in my act, half those people got pushed into the Capitol by the FBI plants in the crowd, and the other half got let in by the cops, took the gates away. And I know that happened because I fucking saw the video that Tucker Carlson showed.
You cherry-picked that.
But you also watch like the people who like actually took January 6th as some worse than 9/11. No, those are the people that were literally out there like burning down their neighbor's building during the after George Floyd. And then they were like upset that, they were just talking about how, we have this really racist system. And then they got mad at people that actually walked in on the place where the racist system was actually created. So it's like they just get you doing this mental gymnastics, and it's kind of crazy to watch some of the most intelligent, I don't know how smart they are, but they're very intelligent people just fall for these psyops after psyops after psyops.
So here...
AOC was terrified. She was hiding in a closet in a building that was a few blocks away. And then she heard something go, "Where is she? Where is she?" And it was the pizza guy, but she didn't know.
So this guy Eric says, if January 6th was an insurrection, why were people allowed to leave the Capitol like it was a movie theater? It clearly confirms what we've said since January 6th, that January 6th tapes would have exonerated every person charged, and this is why these tapes weren't released. That's exactly why. So you want to see something? That is a great. They were like they were coming out of a movie theater. And let's watch them. Let's watch them. Here they are. So this is the cops letting them. They're just letting them leave. They're just letting them leave. They're like, oh fuck, grapes of wrath.
Where's the merch table?
Yeah.
Is that their Jimmy Dore show?
That woman sold me a pie once. Okay. Okay. Yeah. That's it. They just let them. Just let them.
Yeah, thank you, boys.
That's it. They just let them leave. No problem. See ya. No problem. Not. Thanks for coming. Here. You want a coupon for a 50% off next time? Here's 2 tickets to see the no-name comedian next weekend.
Oh my God,
Shaman.
the violence. I saw more violence at a UCLA peace protest.
Look, there's the shaman.
Oh,
there's my guy. I have that same hat. I do.
Boy, the security was tighter than Madonna's face.
Wow. This is the same door Jamal Bowman ripped that fire alarm.
So, just like there was that article, it was in the Time magazine that we talked about how they said, yeah, there was a conspiracy to stop to overthrow the 2020 election, and then they admitted it. Right? It was written by Crystal Ball's sister, or
oh, I didn't know that part of it.
I don't know. Her last name is Ball. I don't know if it's her sister. But anyway. We covered it on the show, and they talked about how everybody got together to make sure Trump didn't win. Everybody from the newspaper, FBI,
I know. I remember what you said.
Okay, now you remember?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. And then this is
I forgot.
So fucking criminals can't help but talk about the crime that they committed. And that's exactly what this PBS documentary is. It's like they want to brag about the fucking crime they did, and they bring in the Rupert Murdoch, who's 5 years younger than Rupert Murdoch, and they're like, look, we got this fucking guy, and he did it, we made it into a miniseries, and we fucking convinced everybody, and now you all think those people were the greatest criminals trying to overthrow the country. A bunch of Second Amendment gun nuts showed up to overthrow the government, and they didn't bring their fucking guns, and we're never going to mention that part of the story, right? Isn't that amazing?
Well, even if they did a great job, right? And I'm convinced from this great miniseries how dangerous this was. You're still trying to sell me on Joe Biden almost wasn't the president.
Yeah, I know.
Like, do you hear yourself? Everybody hates him now. Do you get, this doesn't really have the sting of a 9/11 at this point.
Like they showed, I saw the video where they go up to the cop, and the cop takes him to Mitch McConnell's office, and he opens Mitch McConnell's office for him, and then they get in there, and they're like, what do we do, right? They're like, well, let's go to Nancy Pelosi's office and take a shit. That's not a coup, that's a poo. What are they going to do, call up the Pentagon? Hey, this is some fucking jackass who's calling you from the Capitol. And the Pentagon's like, well, it's from the Capitol. We have to do what they say.
They would have bowed to the demands of the tour.
I mean, it's just a crazy, and so this is all propaganda, and it's made to exactly like you said, to enact these laws and create another police agency, which they did. They funded a $2 billion, another police agency after this, that's like what the hate crime laws are. That's all there to keep control of you and because they're losing control of the narrative, so they have to keep criminalizing regular activity that normal people do. And if they don't do that, they're going to lose control of the fucking country. And I hope they lose control of the country soon, and I'm going to do everything I can to make that fucking happen.
For sure. God bless. And but you can also, dude, they falsified evidence all the time. Like, the January 6th community was like a shitty open micer on TikTok, adding like crowd laughter to their clips. Have you seen that? Where they basically added all of this sound of people coming through the window. They added all the sound of breaking of that, people yelling and screaming, and none of it was real. They just lied about. They're doing things that if you and I did it, we would be in jail for a long time.
Why does it take us so long to talk about this stuff, though?
We've been talking about it.
I know, I mean, in general, people, humans.
You mean in polite society?
Because you have your memory wiped every month.
But that's my point. Is like I'll be like, I think this COVID shit is bullshit. And I was like, whoa, just talking about the subject is you can't talk about it. So then you don't, because you're like, I don't want to fucking fight with this chick.
Social contagion, dude.
But and we do it with every subject.
So
then what happens is 100 years has to go by before someone goes, oh, well, now we'll ask some questions about 9/11.
Okay, I'll tell you.
But no one gives a fuck because those people
called
are
mind control.
So I'll tell you why that is. Because in 1996, Bill Clinton ushered in the Telecommunications Act, which took us from 50 giant media companies down to 6. And so now journalists don't come from blue-collar backgrounds anymore. They all come from elite universities like Columbia, Harvard, and Northwestern, and they're class loyal. And so the billionaires handpick those motherfuckers, and so now they have complete control of the narrative. And if you go against the establishment narrative, you'll never work again. And that's even in comedy, it's exact same thing.
It's Hollywood for sure. I mean, if you study, to get on a TV show, how many green lights do you need? And you just got to catch one person that maybe heard that you're like, I don't know about this vaccine. I don't want to work with them. You'll never work again. So now you got to bend over backwards to show that
bend over forwards.
Yeah, okay. Or according, if you want to be a rapper, bend forward, right? And
that's all the gigs. 50 million's the entry fee.
So it's just like that guy that they kicked off of Saturday Night Live before he ever got on. What was his name?
Shane.
Yeah, Shane Gillis. And then all of a sudden, nobody's watching Saturday Night Live anymore. They're like, well, let's bring Shane Gillis back on. I guess his racism wasn't so bad.
And not only that, the following week, the star was a girl with big tits and a smile. I haven't seen that in 12 years.
Yeah.
Usually his arms crossed with one eyebrow.
Yeah, so Me Too is dead. So they got rid of fucking Me Too because they're trying to get you to watch my tits, and they bring on Shane Gillis again. And so they're so because money rules, right? So they're like, we got to get more eyeballs.
You know who the host is next week?
No.
It's Tony Hinchcliffe kicking an Asian guy in the balls.
So
this is for Kung Flu, he says.
Yeah. He's roasting his balls with his shoe. All right?
So people don't know, if you don't know Tony Hinchcliffe, he got canceled because somebody selectively edited a video of him doing some things that they called was anti-Asian humor. But what they didn't show you was the comedian in front of him who did all this comedy that he was responding to. And that's what made it funny. Yeah. But they only showed you that one part. He lost his agent because of that. Yeah. He got kicked out of Hollywood. And guess who they just invited back to do that fucking Tom Brady roast? It was Tony Hinchcliffe.
Cover of Variety.
He got the cover of Variety. Now they're like, okay, we need comedy back again because nobody gives a fucking shit about this woke bullshit comedy anymore. People are sick of it. We're gonna let them come back in so people watch us again. And so that's where we're at right now in comedy, actually. So I'm still radioactive in Hollywood, but in case you're not sure. Okay. So if you go to my Twitter feed and it says Zionists are Nazis, I'm not gonna get fucking. There's nobody in Hollywood that's gonna take me. Okay?
But you're on the right side of history, dude. And that's all that really matters.
That's like heaven for atheists.
And so, so here, I got the wrong jokes. Hold on.
How about Smith-Munt? How about the Smith-Munt Act?
How about it? Talk about it.
You want to know why this is all happening? Obama legalized propaganda.
Yeah, we covered that on the show, sir. Guess what? It wasn't new. They were doing it the whole time.
No, but what they
I was
do
upset by it as well.
But now it's legal.
Yeah, now they just don't have to worry
It's like
about
torture.
porn, you know, it's like, yeah, oh yeah.
Of
now
course
we
we're
just
going to
do it.
torture, but then you make it
Not hide
legal.
it. Yeah. Yeah. But it's not just a Democratic thing. The whole thing starts when Reagan basically gets rid of where he used to be, where, and this was the beginning of it, where you would have to have both sides of the argument on network news. And then they're like, oh, we're going to get rid of that. So that began the dividing of the country. So you can hear what you want to hear over here, and you can hear what you want to hear over here. And then Clinton came in and deregulated the media, and it's just been one right after each other. And it's not a Democrat thing or a Republican thing. It's a uniparty thing. That's what it is. So as Jimmy looks for his notes, my favorite thing is I forgot what the senator or congresswoman's name is, but she's like yelling. She's like, yeah, you know, Israel gets weapons, no questions asked, no limits, no nothing. And I'm just watching her talk, and I go, what weird sex do they film you doing? They have that blackmail on you for you to say that. Like, weird shit's going in weird places when you're like, no limits, no questions asked. That is blackmail to me for sure. Whenever you hear people bending over backwards saying we shouldn't question Israel at all, there is blackmail involved in that for sure.
You sound crazy like that. It sounds like a conspiracy. I heard something about lizards, and that's all I remember.
Here we're doing stand-up in Ashland, Virginia, Athens, Georgia, Rutherford, New Jersey, Minneapolis, Minnesota, Ontario, California, Irvine, California, Las Vegas, Davenport, Iowa, Chicago, Grand Rapids. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets, and make sure you go to jimmydore.com and don't go to a second reseller. Not good.